Hello, my dear friends. Today I'm talking about how to use the horary technique to answer the questions. Horary astrology is a branch of astrology that answers specific, immediate questions by analyzing the moment a question is asked. Whether you are seeking answers about your career, relationships, or personal life, horary astrology is a powerful tool that can provide clarity and guidance. It's about to interpreting a chart cast for exact moment of a question is posed. Unlike other branches of astrology, such as natal or transit astrology, which focus on the positions of planets at the time of the birth or during specific moments of time, horary is solely focused on a question at the time it is asked. The beauty of this is that it's incredibly practical. It's not a concern with long-term predictions or deep psychological analysis, but instead offers answers to immediate concrete questions. Think like, will I get the job? Should I invest in this property? Or is this relationship going to work? To start using horary astrology, you need to understand a few key concepts. The question. In horary, the question you ask is of utmost importance. It should be clear, specific, and focused. Vague question like, what will happen in my future, won't give you any answer. The clearer and more direct your question is, the more effective the chart will be. It's similar with the question that you put when you want to use tarot. Also, the moment of asking. Horary astrology relies on the moment you ask the question. This is why it's essential to ask with intent and awareness. You can ask the question mentally or out loud, but the chart must be cast based on the exact time you ask the question. The horary chart is the chart created for the moment you ask the question. It looks similar to any other charts, but with a very different purpose. The position of the planets in relation to the 12 houses, signs, and aspects provide the information needed to answer the question. In horary, each question is typically linked to a specific house in the chart. The planet that rules the house connected to the question is called the ruling planet. This planet is crucial in interpreting the outcome of the question. These 12 houses in a horary chart represent different areas of life, such as relationships, career, finance. For example, the 7th house deals with relationships, the 10th house with career and reputation, and the 4th house with home and family. The house related to the question helps to determine which planets and signs to focus. Now that you have a basic understanding of horary astrology, it's time to learn how to interpret a horary chart. While there are many details involved, we'll break it down into simple steps you can follow to get started. So, first step in answering a question using horary astrology is to cast a chart. You can do it manually or use an online astrology tool that generates horary chart. To cast the chart, you will need to know the exact date, time, and location where you ask the question. This is the most crucial part of the process. Accuracy is everything. Identify the question's ruling house. Once you have the chart, the next step is to figure out which house the question falls under. As mentioned earlier, different houses rule over different aspects of life. For example, if you ask a question about job, you will look at the 10th house, which governs career and public reputation. If your question is about love, the 7th house is the relevant one. If you ask about finances, the 2nd house will provide the necessary clue. Then look at the ruling planet. Each house in astrology has a ruling planet based on the sign it occupies. I'm talking about traditional ruler, not modern ruler. The 10th house is traditionally ruled by Saturn, while the 7th house is ruled by Venus. But it depends in which zodiac sign is each of these houses. The ruling planet, let's say the 7th house, when it's about relationship question, is in Taurus. So Taurus is ruled by Venus. So Venus is the ruling planet. A strong ruling planet suggests a positive outcome, while a weak or afflicted one could point to challenges or negative outcomes. Consider the aspects. Aspects are the angles formed between planets in the chart. These angles provide important insights into how different planets interact with each other. For example, conjunctions. When two planets are very close together, they have a powerful influence on each other. A conjunction can indicate strong positive energy or a challenging one, depending on the planets are involved in this conjunction. Trine suggests harmony and flow. This is generally a positive aspect, indicating smooth progress. Square is challenging and suggests tension or conflict. It might indicate obstacles between opposing forces. Look at the aspects between the ruling planet and other key planet in the chart. A harmonious aspect to benefic planets, like Venus or Jupiter, suggests a favorable outcome, while a challenging aspect with malefic planets, with Saturn or Mars, might indicate struggles or delays. The moon plays an important role in horary astrology. It represents the immediate circumstances, and its position can indicate the speed of events. For example, if the moon is in a fast-moving position, it suggests that the answer will come quickly. If the moon is void of course, meaning it's not making any aspects to other planets, it can suggest that the question is not yet ripe for an answer, or that the situation is uncertain. Look at the moon position in the chart and its aspect to other planets. If the moon is well aspected, this can indicate that things are moving in a positive direction. Finally, consider the timing of the event or the answer to your question. If you are asking about when something will happen, this timing can be resulted from the chart by looking at the aspect the moon makes to the relevant planets and how fast the moon is moving. If the moon is applying to a beneficial aspect, it's likely that the event will happen sooner rather than later. If the moon is separating from a benefic aspect, it may indicate that the situation is already in motion or the opportunity has passed. For example, you put the question, will I get this job as just interviewed for? The 10th house of the chart governs career reputation, so you would look at the 10th house and the planet that rules it. Let's say it's Saturn. So it means 10th house is in Aquarius or Capricorn, yeah. And Saturn is well aspected to Venus, which represents harmony and good fortune. This could indicate that the job offer is likely to be positive and you will likely get the job. On the other hand, if Saturn is in a challenging aspect, for example with Mars, this indicates obstacles or competition. If the moon is void of course, it could suggest that the situation is still uncertain and you may need to wait before getting an answer. Example from the celebrities who used horary astrology. J.F. Kennedy consulted astrologers using horary charts to make key decisions in his political career, including during the Cuban Missile Crisis. Princess Diana. It is said that Diana used horary astrology to make personal decisions, including regarding her marriage and family life. So, are you ever used horary astrology? If yes, please tell me your experience. I wish you all the best. Bye-bye.